horse. My name is Elise Cheval. That means horse in French. You know, when you're a kid, you walk and you run, but not me. I can't. Everywhere I went, and sometimes I mix it up and I would try. Or I'd get that sultry walk and I'd watch, where my feet went, because when they bring that back hoof up, it goes perfectly in that front hoof, doesn't it, all you equestrians in the audience? Horses saved my soul. Actually, it was my aunt and my uncle. They had the horses. We had 6. We had the ones that would bite you if you didn't pay attention, and they would kick your butt if you were really stupid and not looking where they were. One time when I was a 10-year-old kid, I was standing right there by that big, oh gosh, he must have been 1,500 pounds, golden palomino. He had a brown spot on his left hip that was the prettiest that you ever seen. And he had blonde hair that just went all the way down, not as far as an Andalusian. He was a quarter horse and a Morgan with a Roman nose. His name was Socks, because he had 2 white socks, perfect on the front feet. But he was a smart one, that Socrates. And we named him that way because of the philosopher named Socrates. You know who I'm talking about? That guy who trained Plato like that? At any rate, Socrates was pretty smart. So my Uncle Kelly, he liked to wear those long boots, so that when you went into the lot, and you didn't want to get, what I'm talking about, all over your shoes. He would see Socrates on the opposite side of the fence, and that horse was just sitting there pretty as you please, eating grass. Now, he checked the fence, and there was not a single broken board on that fence, and that electrical wire was still perfectly intact. But there was good old Socrates on the other side of the fence having his grass. So my uncle thought, well, we got to figure this out. Because what if he gets out and goes on the highway and gets killed? Because we just were a block away from the highway. So one day he sat out there and he waited. And that old Socrates, he just came right up over to that fence and he checked it out, and then he turned and he walked back and he just looked at that fence, and then he just pretty whoop, 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 over the fence he goes, and then he eats his grass. But this was the best part. He always got back in before anybody figured he was out. Isn't that amazing? That horse could open a fence gate. He could let himself out if he wanted to. And then he had his mate, Janine Starr. What a beautiful horse she was. She was the horse they let me ride. Oh, yeah, right. Have you ever ridden a sorrel mare with a bad attitude? Have you ever tried to put a bit in their mouth when you want to ride them? Well, let me tell you what, that's no fun when you're 10 years old and you don't know anything about putting a bit in the mouth because nobody ever taught you. They just threw you up on that horse and said, go for it. So there I am standing in the stall, and there's Janine, and I'm putting the bit in her mouth. Well, that didn't go very well because she started throwing her head like horses like to do, and all of a sudden those big old horse teeth came right down on my nose, and let me tell you, that stung really, really bad. And I started to cry because it hurt. And that horse just looked at me and she said, well, okay, I guess you can put the bit in my mouth. So I put the bit in her mouth, and she and I, we got the saddle out, and I was riding around. Well, I got the idea to play a trick on Socrates. And so I went around the barn thinking that he didn't know where I was, and all of a sudden there he was, and he turned around and he pow, kicked us right in the butt. I guess it's all. I gotta tell you, this is the best story of all. How about you're out there walking along with your cousin, she's riding Socrates, and you're on Janine Starr, and all of a sudden Sharon's on the ground, and you're going, what the hell? What happened? But she's not just on the ground, the horse is in the what do you call it? Like a pit, like quicksand. That's what it was. We were in a construction site, and all of a sudden that dang horse